Hey guys, what's up? How are you doing? And welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a 1v1 siege between me playing as Cardolan and KOS Seraphim or Passer levels playing as Dol Guldur. You may recognise the map from one of my earlier videos where it was Aaron Galen facing off against the Dunaroth. And in that one I won, but well, I'll show you what happens in this one. But yeah, let's just get into the army comps, starting with me as the defender. I brought 4 units of Minotaur and Guildsmen. That's one there. Second one over here. Yep. And I've got another 2 over here. Just making sure no one sneaks in through this gate. But yeah, these guys shielded, decent armor values for what they are. Fairly cheap infantry, really quite good morale as well. And of course, because they're macemen, they have their armor, they have their AP damage, and yeah, they're not bad for their price point, but they're not like they're not gonna astound you, is what I'm trying to say. Then I have brought 2 units of Minotaur and Barons, one here, one here. Just AP anti-large shock infantry. Really quite elite. They cost, I want to say 750 florins. Or 700 florins, one of the two. Yeah, at any rate, these guys, they're going to be very useful at dealing with infantry and cavalry alike. Then I've got probably one of my most favourite units in the mod, and that is the Mithlond Plague Wards. Like many people, Plague Doctors I love Plague Doctors. They're just really, really cool. And I'm overjoyed to see Cardolan has them. To be honest, I might just make these if things don't change just for the Plague Doctors, because I love them so much. Yeah, I've got 2 of them, AP shock infantry, very damaging and unbreakable. But yeah, these guys, they can do a lot of damage in the right situations, and they just won't rout. They'll stay fighting for basically as long as you want them to. Got 2 units of Mithlond pikes. These guys just not very elite pikemen, but they're pikes, they have that range, and if they're combined with something like the Minotaur and Guildsmen, then they should be able to hold line really quite well. Their very much their one weakness is missile fire. Then heading back further towards town centre on the back of the settlement, we have got the Sentinels of Tirn Gorthad, basically just a more elite and more heavy armoured pike unit. In fact, yeah, I've only got 1 unit of Mithlond pike. In fact, my other unit of pikes is the Sentinels of Tirn Gorthad, basically very elite, good pikemen, lots of range on their sharp pointy sticks, and heavily armoured as well, so they're less prone to, well, arrow fire than the Mithlond ones. And then Tharbad Warhammers. This is not my general, but it's my 1 bodyguard tier unit, which, well, it's my 1 multiple HP unit basically, and that makes it bodyguard tier. So yeah, these guys AP, very damaging. They can get so many kills. They can just beat the brakes off of most of what Seraphim or Passer levels, whatever you want to call it, can bring. Then back on this island, one thing we did arrange like before all this was the fact that she wasn't going to capture the town square. She was like going to allow me to have my final stand on the top of the hill, just, you know, for cinematic reasons. Just have to do it, you know. But yeah, back at this, I've got my entire contingent of missile units. because I was always planning on like falling back to the town centre and eventually to the island. But yeah, so here I've got 2 units of them in here as sharpshooters, macemen and melee, and they're just able to. Their crossbows, they have that AP, decent range, unlike that of slingers. And their bolts do much more damage. And because these are the Cardolan ones, they're not half bad in melee. They pull out those shields they have on their backs, they get maces, they're AP of both melee and in range, which is really quite useful. Then we have the Minotaur and Gatekeepers, which are pretty much just better Minhirias sharpshooters. There's less of them in a unit, and they do wield a different weapon in melee. That being the halberd, the humble halberd. So yeah, these guys adopt almost a pike formation and just prod them, poke them. And again, these guys AP at both range and in melee. And last but certainly not least, we have 2 units of Doomsdying Rangers, 100 men in a unit. This is Wars of Ardor, so Rangers aren't body piercing, thank God. Otherwise I would have lost so many more matches than I have. But yeah, you can bring 2 of them before going into the red limit, and they're just better. They're just really good long range archers, basically. And one thing Bill has done is, in Reforged, Rangers were good at range against, but they didn't have much, because they could basically shoot through people. They didn't have much damage. These guys do about twice as much damage as they would have in Reforged per shot. But one thing he has introduced is the fact that Rangers are actually good in melee now. Like, in Reforged they weren't particularly bad, but in the instance of the Doomsdying Rangers, they pull out the shield on their backs and a long sword, and they just duke it out. Now on to Seraphin's army, where she has brought, I want to say 2 units of Black Orc Guard. 2. Really hard to see. I think it's just 2. Unless there's a 3rd one over here. No, just 2 Black Orc Guard. I believe these ones do have the armor upgrade though, otherwise they would be using the played against them literally yesterday. What are they called? Mountain Orc Berserker unit model. Without the armor upgrade, that is. But yeah, just bog standard Orc Spearmen, 253 men in each unit, so you know they're pretty garbage, but there's enough of them to basically keep a war fight going at the very least. And potentially will overwhelm my forces, because I've gone for a decently elite force, I would say. So yeah, we've got one of those pushing up the ram and one of them pushing up a siege tower. Now pushing up the other siege tower, we have the Dead of Dagor lad, and I believe he's brought 2 of these because she's brought 2 of these because she didn't want to go into the red limit, and you can bring 2 before going into the red limit. But yeah, just very tanky undead units, 3 HP, pain in the backside to deal with, unless you can have something that can rip through them like a hot knife through butter. Yeah, they're a pain in the backside to deal with. Then we've got Dol Guldur Warmongers, just basically cheap chod again, but this time armed with 2-handed axes. They use the model for Uruk Reavers, I want to say. Or is it Uruk High Reavers? One of the 2. Wraith Knights of Dol Guldur, Knight unit, they're going to be annoying to deal with, but they may be less useful than Seraphin thinks, considering I don't have anything with which to sally out. 2 units of Black Orc halberds. Just halberdiers, you know, annoying to deal with unless you can outrange them with pikes or shoot them. And then some 2 units of Black Orc warriors, just again numbers heavy, decent melee infantry, but nothing special. And she's got two of those as well. I think she's got quite a bit more than that, like headhunters, hunters, and bows of Dol Guldur, but shadow bows of Dol Guldur, is it? But we'll see those when we get to it. But without further ado, let's begin. So already you can see she's moving up her siege equipment, except for on this side, I want to say. Oh wait, no. She's moving up this as well. And I'm feeling fairly confident about this because it's 1 unit of orcs against 2 units of people who are basically trained to murder orcs. So yeah, I was feeling fairly confident about this. Oh wait, I genuinely managed to forget about the trolls somehow. Yeah, trolls are trolls. And they're this massive raid knights. So bodyguards here, sword and board infantry, they're going to be a pain in the backside to deal with. And the generals in this unit, because you can see that from, well, the Nazgul, right? Yep.
The enemy have riders at the walls. Repel the attackers. Give them steel.
Let's see if I can find any of these hidden units. There you go, Shadow Orc Archers, that's what they're called. And I think the Javelin version might be Shadow Orc Hunters.
The enemy are battering down our gates.
But yes, Seraphim is, well, past levels, is doing what she should be doing, trying to just set up some breaches. I do have towers, which is useful. Yeah, she's doing the right thing here, I'd almost say, and trying to pull the Dol Guldur warmongers back. So if she sends them up on the wall, they're just going to get massacred. And then, yeah, Shadow Orc Hunters is what they're called. I believe there's a unit of Shadow Orc Archers that's going to show up soon and start shooting me. Unless it's just the Shadow Orc Hunters. Yeah, you can see she's trying to do the sneaky thing and move up the Shadow Orc Archers. But I believe I noticed this fairly soon, and then charge up the Minhiri. Minhiri have to play towards even. And yeah, you can see they're getting ready to go up on the walls now. And I mean, if I can just manage to deal with one of these units of archers, that's a bit of a win because it's one less unit of archers I had to deal with. And Seraphim, she really does love bringing massive quantities of archers. And she's very annoying to play against, I'll put it like that. Because, especially, if you play it, don't let her play as Dol Guldur. Because she brings, instead of Dagorlad, which are basically just massive tanks, and then massive quantities of archers. And yeah, you can see Seraphim again, like in the battle she had with Bilbo and Helm's Deep, really quite on point, not letting me get her archers at melee there, which is more than I can say for some players. Let's put it like that. And yeah, putting the Shadow Orc Hunters, trying to get the Shadow Orc Hunters up on the wall. But again, I think both of us were like, I don't think either of us were like particularly not on point in this battle. I think Seraphim just played it smarter, almost, I'd say. So every time Seraphim tried to move units up on the walls while I was still holding the area around the walls, I would genuinely just try and like send units up, deal with them, stuff like that. Just scare them off almost. And yeah, as you can see, I moved my Minotaur and Barons up, and again, Seraphim on point with the micro. Shadowwalk Hunters will run away, and this is something I'm a bit annoyed about. They get a volley off on my Minotaur and Barons, which hurt. Did it actually? Well, I only got one kill, but they're a relatively expensive unit, I'd say. And yeah, Shadowwalk Hunters moving in. So at this point I decide, I see javelins, so I should probably like pull back a bit, because if I can't charge out. If I sally out, I'm basically just as screwed as I would be if I stayed there. Because all that would happen is bam, bam, and then the units I sallied out with would be sandwiched and, well, destroyed. And within about 10 seconds of combat actually beginning, I'm already losing apparently. Yeah, it's not great, but I am starting to kill these stupid Black Orcs, so I've got that going for me. But again, Seraphim playing this really smart. She's moving up her Shadowwalk Hunters behind the Black Orc Guard. She's got her Dead of Cardolan, making sure I can't get up via there to just sandwich the archers. No, she's actually like playing this really quite well. Far better than I played it. Because one thing I didn't notice at some point, I think, is I think soon we're going to be seeing the consequences of my actions. I do see them and think, right, I need to get rid of these, they need to die. But not before this happens. And that's a lot of my poor Plague Doctors dead, upsettingly. And there go a lot more of them. And I mean, I think, yeah, it didn't go quite as, that exchange didn't go quite as well as I would have liked it to. Considering I lost about 60 elite men and they lost not very many not elite men. But yeah, at this point I'm like, this is no longer a good engagement for me. I just have to cut my losses and just pull back. But unfortunately, I'm not really getting anywhere with the Black Orc Guard. I mean, I still own the towers, so that is going to be shooting at Seraphim. Well, past the level, sorry. But yeah, past the level, being really quite smart here, and she's trying to catch me out with my Minhiriath Pike. And very nearly does. Fortunately, I managed to spot it at like the right time and turn around. But then, what I really want to do is be able to get these Minhiriath pikemen in this choke point. That's what I needed to do. And again, this charge definitely goes better for her. Lots of pikes dead. I mean, she is still losing some of these Wraith Knights, but she's not losing as many as I would have liked. And now the true enemy of my Plague Doctors rears its ugly head. That enemy being missiles. And so if I don't do this, then they're just gonna die quicker anyway, but what I end up doing is I really do have to do this. I just charge my Plague Doctors off the walls and try and just get a few sneaky kills off the Shadow Archers. And I mean, for a short time it worked, I scared them off and stuff like that. This is another place where it didn't go quite to plan for me at the very least. That being Shadow Orc Hunters on the walls, and unshielded Minotaur Roman Barons. This is one of the times where my micro wasn't quite on point. But what I do decide to do here is cut my losses, have to get them in melee. Because, I mean, when they're in melee, if they get inside, like, the lines of this, they can do a good amount of work. But unfortunately, the Shadow Orc Hunters, Seraphim made past level even, again showing her expertise in the game and the mod as a whole. Knowing exactly what to do to shaken units, she surrounds them. I mean, while I definitely would have, even these guys weakened as they were, I would have personally said they could beat these. But when they're getting flanked by another unit, healthy unit of them, I mean, at this point I had two options, which were send these guys up there as well, and just slaughter them. Or, oh yeah, this hurt as well. A very potent cab play for a past level here. Killing quite a few of these guys, and she's also managed to get her archers safely on the walls, firing down upon my pikemen. So I think what I decide to do is push up my Minotaur and Guildsmen to this choke point here. However, unfortunately, and move my pikes backwards and get my Dunedain Rangers again up here to try and deal with these Shadow Orc Hunters and Headhunters. But Headhunters are much more deadly than the Shadow Hunters, than the Shadow Orc Archers. They have a longer range as well. So yeah, I lose quite a few pikemen here, unfortunately. I think, yeah, I put them into loose formation then. Out here it's not looking too good. I think I slightly underestimated the true power of Black Orcs. Because somehow they're beating a unit that costs more than they do. Really quite substantially. And I don't even think the cavalry's over there yet. Unless it is. Cavalry's a possibility. And yeah, what I'm doing is, very quickly I realise, right, the final stand is going to be where it's at. I have to make sure I have enough left for a final stand. But yeah, I mean, even when they're like massively outnumbered, like 40 Minotaur Roman Barons managed to kill about 60 of these guys, and most of those were bloodied up before they got in there. So I mean, that just shows the true power of the Minotaur Roman Baron. And yeah, this is not what you want. when you're just trying to kill off a cheap unit of orcs. Yeah, the cavalry charge in the back to rout you really isn't what you want. It's to this point that I pray to, like, I really hope that Seraphin's micro isn't quite on, and she doesn't quite know what's going on with her Wraith Knights. I mean, she does charge in and gets a cheeky kill, but I do have my anti-large units nearby, so... But yeah, in fairness to Seraphin, well, past the levels even, she played really well in this. Micro was good, and while I didn't play horribly by any means, the fact that I haven't really played much in the last few months definitely reared its ugly head. Because of mistakes like what happened over here. The fact I hadn't played in months definitely caused me more than a few issues. I mean, the Black Orc Warriors are pretty much untouched. Like, they've only lost about 45 men. And that definitely surprised me. I mean, I'm not sure what happened to these guys, but... yeah, I think the cavalry might have been over there and got a couple of charges in. So they should not have lost the Black Orc Warriors like that, the way they did. Yeah, I've got my Dunedain Rangers, and I mean, I kind of see that they're isolated, but at the same time, past levels, she's got this cavalry, and anything I send out could potentially just get isolated and destroyed. However, one thing I can do is Minhir as sharpshooter. So I'm genuinely interested in this map. Unfortunately, only about 10 of them are actually able to shoot. But yeah, the angles, I believe, I make a better angle for myself. And then of course, it's just everyone. At this point, I'm thinking, right, I don't have enough to defend this stuff. Past level, she's moving her archers over here, she's going to be able to shoot me. Like, it's all just one massive issue. But I think she might get one volley off, I'm not sure. Before I notice. But yeah, the fact that, let me know in the comments, because I really do hope you prefer it without the unit banners, because if you don't, I'm going to be really upset with myself, because I've been playing without unit banners for you guys, and basically it's really quite negatively impacted my gameplay and micro, because it's very hard to, if you don't know where banners are, it's very hard to like know where your enemy is, if you get what I'm saying. And yeah, again, past the level, showing her like experience in the game, well, in the mod, and going after the elite unit, unshielded, pretty expensive to be completely honest. Yeah, she's definitely going after the right unit, and I let this go on for way longer than I should have. But eventually I do notice, my micro definitely deteriorated as the game went on. Um, like at the start, I was quite like focused, but then I slowly but surely started making mistakes, and yeah. I mean, unfortunately, my first unit of Doom's Own ranges out of ammo, but I don't quite think past levels realizes this, and because of that, she's trying to shoot them. I mean, they're not a bad unit to shoot, I would say, but I wouldn't necessarily call them a good unit to shoot either. And yeah, what I kind of have to do here is, at least for now, leave the Minotaur and Guildsman here. I mean, I know they're gonna die, but I just need time. I think I have just realised why why this unit lost out there. So had them on guard mode, they wouldn't have been fighting very well. Yeah, as you can see, what I'm doing here is Seraphim, fortunately, I think I might just manage to like graze them. But again, she notices what's happening really quite quickly. And yeah, you can see while I did manage to kill about 4 or 5 of them, I really didn't do enough damage to make it worthwhile. And Seraphim she knows how to deal with this, and she tries to do something really sneaky. And it almost worked. It very nearly worked. Because I didn't have banners on. So I was like flying around thinking, oh, where are those headhunters? Where are they? And then I suddenly saw some arrows coming from around about here. And so I like zoomed in, and I saw the fact that they were headhunters. So I've decided, right, I need to get my crossbows on them. And that's exactly what I did. However, they're headhunters of Dol Guldur elite archers, and these are merely non-elite crossbows. And not in loose formation either. I mean, they're possibly giving as good as they get. But, I mean, they're in fact, no, they're almost certainly not. They're definitely getting the wrong end of the stick there. In that fight. Mainly because it's high damage archers. The high damage archers, my biggest bugbear of the game, well, the mod at the very least. I hate the fact trolls can go on walls. I do think trolls should be made into like a heavy cavalry, almost elephant style unit. And I might bring that up with Bilbo, because the fact that they're able to climb up on walls is just a massive joke. Because you think you're safe on the walls, and then they pull off something like this, and you realise you're never safe on the walls. However, it is isolated trolls, and so these guys might get a kill or two on them. They're not elite trolls either. And yeah, you can see that's one kill, but the Minotaur and Guildsmen aren't looking too happy. But yeah, pretty much all of the trolls at this point are bloodied up. So it's just cheap guys, you know. I'm sure the trolls cost far more than these guys, and I mean, they lost 3. Most of them are bloodied up. Like, the trolls, in my opinion, are slightly overrated in certain cases. But yeah, what I'm probably going to do is make a cut here. Because nothing really happens. It's just like waiting for past levels to move all of our units up and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to make a quick cut here. And yeah, if you look here, it's not looking great for me. But the soldiers I have left, missiles, lots of missiles, halberds, bodyguard tier units, elites, like everything I have except for the Minhirad pikemen are elites. And maybe the crossbows, but the crossbows are crossbows, so yeah. But yeah, what I am going to do is make a little cut here. So I'll see you in a second. I'm going to return to you here because, as you can see, Seraphim is, well, past levels even, is starting to mount her attack. She's managed to sneak her horses past, basically, because my Doomsdying ranged were in tight formation, and I can't really send my Tharbad Warhammers over to deal with them, because otherwise the trolls will just charge in and obliterate my Doomsdying Rangers. But at the same time, I can't just leave the cavalry to go unopposed. And so what I end up doing is I'm conserving my Doomsdying Ranger ammo, but I'm unloading Minhirad Sharpshooter ammo into these guys. And I'm sure I decide to, yeah. So at this point I realise, right, the Doomsdying Rangers aren't exactly looking the healthiest, are they? So I end up having to send the Tharbad Warhammers in. And yeah, it really does not look too good for me at this point. Because I've got basically 50 elite soldiers just holding down a bridge, getting shot in the flank. So yeah, great play by pass level here as well. The problem I have is these are just tanky units, except for the Shadow Orc Hunters. Most of these guys are literally just tanky. The Wraith Knights of Dol Guldur just died though, so I've got that to look forward to. And it's just one remaining and he falls now. But yeah, the fact that I don't have many Tharbad Warhammers and they're having to hold this down by themselves, it's quite a big issue. They're just going to get overwhelmed, outmaneuvered. However, because I'm not paying attention to the balance of power bar at this point, I'm actually feeling really confident. Because I didn't see this. Yeah, I didn't see any of this. So I basically thought that this was all she had left. I was thinking, you know what? I could probably take that with what I've got. I mean, I've got elite pikemen, I've got mace. Unfortunately, I have had to send these guys in just to support the Tharbad Warhammers. But yeah, I'm thinking, oh my god, is it literally just archers he has left? And trolls. And another unit, Dead or Direwall Lad, of course. But nope, how wrong I was. Eventually he reveals his true hand to me, and her true hand to me, and it's... Yeah, I realised very quickly where I've gone wrong. But yeah, I just need to deal with these stupid hill trolls. I don't... Like, I'm assuming at this point, you can see where this fight's going. I just felt like this was a really... The main reason I like this battle so much isn't because it was close, because it really wasn't. It wasn't close at all. Like, it's because both of us played decently. Seraphim, of course, played better. But the main reason I loved this fight so much was because of the final stand. The final stand was just chef's kiss. What? It was such a nice looking, really cool final stand. And so I felt like I have to, like, upload this. There's no doubt about it. And unfortunately, at this point, my Dunedain Rangers, they too are now out of ammo. The only missile unit I have that isn't in melee and actually has ammo left is my general. And yeah, I'm not feeling... I was feeling confident, and then eventually she reveals this, and I'm like, oh god.
Our enemy has command of the city.
But yes, the Tharbad Warhammers just still fighting a good fight. I do want to have a look at their kill count. So I have a feeling it's going to be like 150, 160 easily. Purely just because of like the amount they went up against. Like these Shadowwalk archers aren't terrifying, so they're just moving up to shoot my pikes, of course. Which again, oh wait, no, they're shooting my elite pike, which is really quite kind of them. But yeah, this is basically everything I have left other than some Tharbad Warhammers. And ironically, I think the Tharbad Warhammers might be what fights on the longest. I'm surprised we're having these frame drops though. Yeah, the Tharbad Warhammers still fighting a good fight, but again, I'm assuming from this you can just tell there's far too much for me to deal with remaining. Like this, what is here? Yeah, I could definitely deal with that. I have the tools and like stuff necessary to kill them, win. But it's the like 1,000 soldiers just waiting back here that are the things that cause the problem. And again, Tharbad Warhammer's still fighting. They're definitely not winning. But they're fighting on. Doing what they do best.
Defeat seems almost certain.
But what I am actually going to do is turn down the graphics slightly. See if that improves it. And I do think it is like just because of the fact there was so many units in the area we were looking at. So I mean, there's probably a good 400 units in this tiny area. There's a good 400 soldiers in this tiny viewport here, having to be rendered. Yeah, I mean, like, while this definitely wasn't the closest fight I've ever been in, like, it was an enjoyable one. Like, I enjoyed this fight because it feels like, you know how in certain battles, people win because they bring, like, the most overpowered stuff, right? As opposed to, like, winning because they played the game well. Like, in this, Seraphim definitely played the game well. Her units aren't necessarily overpowered, but the way she plays the faction makes them seem overpowered. That's not the case with every faction, of course. Such as the Hobbits from Reforged, they're just balked. But like, with Dol Guldur, they're not inherently broken. Like, they're perfectly beaten, but the way Seraphim past level even plays them, like, it makes it so much harder to win. Like, it becomes nigh on impossible. Purely because she knows the way the Dead of Dagorlad work. And she knows just how damaging high damage archers are. So if you've got something like the Dead of Dagorlad just slowly fighting through a choke point, you're going to be feeling alright about yourself. And yeah, what I have to do here is, like, charge down. It's a unit of archers with ammo left. I can't be having them shoot me. So it's basically a case of I have to charge down the hill. And that is what I do indeed do. I'm even sending my Minotaur and Gatekeeper. I'm that desperate to kill these guys. So I know that 15 Tharbad Warhammers, well, they're probably going to kill a fair chunk of the souls left. They're not going to kill enough. Especially when there's these 1,000 odd soldiers. Easily 1,000 odd soldiers left. And yeah, basically, the way we did it was, because when the attacker moves off of the town centre, basically, you know how it resets and stuff like that, the clock resets. She basically just kept on doing that, and we were able to get this final stand in. And boy, am I glad we were able to. Like, the final stand, this was always going to happen. There was always going to be a final stand. I just wasn't expecting it to be as, like, good and good looking as it was. Because it doesn't look like there should be 5,000 frames left in this battle. I mean, I've got a few elite units, but other than that, most of my guys, like, it's bog standard troops. Well, no. It's elite, except for this unit here. But there's no 2 hit point unit. If it was like completely 2 hit units, then I'd understand a 5k frame, like, fight. But they're not. And yeah, so at this point, the thing you dread to happen happened. At this point, it basically got to the point where I was just stun locker clock for the Tharbad Warhammers. It's like they weren't able to get attacks in because they were just getting stun lock and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way this final stand turned out, and I think you guys will enjoy it as well. If the final stand wasn't as good as it was, then of course I wouldn't upload it. But yeah, just look at the percentages, 39 to 81%. And we'll just see how this changes. Because yeah, the javelin's definitely a problem. But I kind of made a promise not to send more than 1 volley in because I just wanted the final stand to be good. So she still got her volley, but unfortunately it wasn't more than that, if you get what I'm trying to say. And then she basically just charges in. And this is what I would say, is where the true final stand begins. Like, you know, the nice pike wall, stuff like that. And now in front, it's the Plague Doctors, doing what they do best, killing orcs, fighting plagues, you know, stuff like that.
Our foe has taken control of the city.
But yeah, this is like, I mean, I think I managed to bring it back a bit, like to 50% or something with this final stand, maybe 60%. So I do have a lot of units with quality. Yeah, if we just look at it like this, this is why I love a good final stand. This just looks awesome. So it's like the last vestiges of a defense, just desperately holding on, trying to survive.
The enemy is no longer in command of the city.
And with my pikes, I saw what Pasalevel was trying to do with her
Our foe has taken control of the
units,
city.
and I just wanted to make sure that she couldn't like fully flank around. But then I had to go heavy here. And you can see the Plague Doctors being good boys, killing a lot of these foolish Dol Guldurians. Except the fact that they're not particularly foolish because they are going to win this, if you hadn't already guessed. But yeah, I like this battle because of the awesome final stand, and because Seraphim past levels even, like, this is one of the... There's been certain battles where she didn't necessarily deserve to win. Like, she only won because she brought super powerful units, and I went for, like, more balanced factions. And I think you'll see one of them fairly soon. It involves Sarondor. And, I mean, then I've got some really quite close replays, and then I've also got some that aren't quite so close. And the ones that aren't quite so close are basically just a massive showcase of how not to play the game. And somehow my Minotaur and gatekeeps are wavering. That's not what you want to see from your generals unit, especially when it's one as elite as it is. So Minotaur and gatekeepers are elite. They're elite. There's no two ways about it. But yeah, unfortunately my final stand's looking really quite thin on the ground now. The true extent of Seraphim's force isn't even present. And it's just the Sentinels of Tir Guldur and my Plague Doctors at this point fighting on. I think the Rangers are fighting on. The Rangers are fighting to the death. So the Sentinels of Tir Guldur remain. And they're doing respectfully. However, they're outflanked, they're going up against trolls. Like, it's never going to look good for them. But yeah, what I want is Plague Doctors. I just need them. They need to be the final guys. There's just, it's not okay otherwise. And I've got my two Minotaur and Barons who are just like standing there like, hey you. I mean, it's almost funny the way it's like this, because I've completely forgotten about the fight. And Pastel, she doesn't know about them either. Like, none of us actually know about these two guys here. And I think, in fact, yeah, they're the last two soldiers left. And I think that's just a really funny thing, how the final stand isn't even like the final stand I wanted it to be. It's just two random, like, idiots who are literally just standing right in the middle of 1, 2, more than 3 units of like orcs. And then, yeah, there it is. Oh wait, no, they're okay again. They're okay again. And now they're not, they're dead. But yeah, basically, if we look at the way this went, you can see Thubad Warhand, 415 kills. My beautiful Plague Doctors, 100 and 200 kills respectively. Love to see it. Like, yeah, there's certain units I'm really quite disappointed in, such as the Minotaur and Guildsman, probably this unit of Doomdime Rangers, and of course Minhira Sharpshooters. Sentinels of Ting Gorthad doing horribly wrong, horribly badly. Like, a lot of my funds did kind of get flushed down the drain here. But it's good to see that my most expensive unit and my favourite units did well. I do love Dunedain Rangers as well. Cardolan are definitely the faction I probably like the most graphically in the mod, I'd almost say. Because I like the Duneroth Empire. And I think if Harundor get the visual overhaul I hope that they will get, basically if Khan can find a good hoplite shield, good Greek hoplite shield, then I think they're going to revert it back to that. And yeah, I'm really looking for, I really hope he does find one of those. But yeah, that's probably gonna end it here. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a dislike if you didn't. Leave a comment to show your support. Subscribe if you're around here. I upload fairly frequently at the moment. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.